Hello everybody and welcome back to Acting Like an Actor. I'm your host, Sophie Jordan Collins. Today we are joined by actress, writer, and producer Anna Lise Conroy. She is known for her work on Amazon's Bosch legacy. Anna has only been acting in front of the camera for a little over a year and she's already booked a co-star and done a ton of commercials. Plus, she literally got into SAG like 3 months after she started acting. Anna comes from a production background, so we talk about how she moved from working behind the camera to being in front of it, how she booked a co-star without an agent, and why she joined SAG the minute she got in. If you're an actor wondering if you should join SAG right now, or if you want to learn how you can book a co-star on a TV show by yourself without an agent, this is the episode for you.
Are you rich?
Are you famous?
What have you been on?
I don't really recognize you, and neither does my mom.
Can you laugh?
Can you cry on command?
I mean, you said you were an actor, man.
What's your backup plan? Is it shattered?
Dude, I'm just acting like an actor.
Alright everybody, welcome back to Acting Like an Actor. I'm your host, Sophie Jordan Collins, and today we are joined by the lovely...
I'm Anna Lise Conroy. Hello.
It's Anna. So our first segment, Anna, that we always start with, just so our guests can get to know you a little bit, we can break down some walls,
I love it.
Irritating icebreakers.
Oh my god.
That's our first segment. So it's going to be 3 mildly annoying questions, just so they can get to know you.
I love that.
Just random questions.
Wow, putting me in the hot seat right off the bat.
Speaking of seats, what is your favorite seat on an airplane is the first question.
I'm a window, yeah.
A window.
I'm a window
okay,
girly.
quick. Yeah.
Easy. You don't even have to think about it. I feel like that comes from the need to know where we are at all times.
Fair enough. See, I also like the window, but then if I have to pee, it's very just not good. So I'm like, my preference is to have the entire row by myself and like hop around.
I mean, if that was an option,
right.
obviously preferable.
But window.
I love that.
Got you. Okay. Did you have a stuffed animal as a child?
Oh my god, I did.
Okay, what was his or her name?
His name was Snort.
Snort.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is wild.
Not that.
So he was a Thai Beanie Baby.
Okay.
The big version.
Okay.
You know, and I had all 3 sizes, but the big
Of course.
version was like my heart, and then I eventually collected the medium and the small to like complete his
so
family.
the same.
Same.
Okay, the same
so
little Thai guy. Love.
it's the Red Bull, but I, as a kid, thought it was a pig.
Okay.
So that's how he earned the name Snort.
Love.
Didn't realize that like the horns meant to bowl. To me, I bought him at a garage sale for 25 cents when I was like 5 or 6, and then he had this long tail, and I would bring him on the bus and whip people with him. This is like insane.
Love. Okay.
I was feisty. Yeah. Wild.
Love it. All right. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten?
Oh. Honestly, like, I don't know, this may be controversial to call weird. I find sea urchin to be a very strange experience.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's weird because a lot of people eat sea urchin. It's common, but eating it is bizarre.
The texture is weird.
Yeah.
I agree. Anna's story, I'll give you guys a little preface, is really cool because she started off in like production and that side of things, and then she kind of made her way to the front of the camera. And things also happened like really, really quick for her in terms of like getting into SAG and stuff like that. So if you want to take it away.
Oh my gosh, sure. Well, thank you for providing this channel to kind of share my story. I think that's been a huge motivator in my journey and kind of just what pushes me every day. But I started out working for ABC in analytics. So we would look at audience performance, show demographics, who's watching what, ranking everything across all of Disney's television networks and streamers, including Hulu. And I was pretty good at it because I think similar to you, which is why I think our friendship took off so quickly when we met, is that we both are going to give our full selves to what we're doing and try to add value in really clear ways. And so I think in that it was really hard to think about leaving as I started realizing how much I loved talking to producers and writers and creatives about their show performance. And it just started piquing my interest, and Disney and ABC had all of these really great mentorship opportunities and development opportunities to go listen to showrunners and, you know, other writers, producers about their journeys and how they got to be where they were. One day I sat in on a meeting with the head of casting for 21st Century Fox, and everything she said just like struck a chord with me, and I started thinking about how much I wanted to dive into acting class and be a writer in all these creative pursuits. But because I didn't go to university for it, I didn't think it was possible. So I would shove it down and be like, no, but you're good at this job. You're providing value. You have a consistent paycheck. Like, stay here. And then at the end of 2020 in COVID, I had been there for a year and 8 months and I got laid off, which ended up being the biggest blessing for me because I started dabbling in production and PA'd a little bit, did 2 seasons of The Bachelor, which is pretty wild.
She got to travel and stuff for it too.
I did. I think Austria was the best. I did the Sound of Music tour on my day off in Salzburg, and that was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And I'm still very close with my Bachelor production team, even though I had told them from the get-go, I'm only doing 2 seasons and then I'm done. And I think that it's very hard. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really hard in this industry to leave things that are steady when you have your eye on a future goal. I think you have to constantly be moving and evolving and asking yourself, what purpose is this job serving for me in the long run? And I think Bachelor it was really instrumental in my growth as a human. And it taught me how to love myself and be adventurous and not be scared of life and take risks and to make a community. And I took that with me, and I knew I needed to pivot from unscripted to scripted because those worlds are completely separate. Crew, cast, the network. Unscripted doesn't always talk to scripted, you know, even at the top. And you have heads of, like, the president of ABC will have completely different departments and they rarely talk to each other. So that is true across the industry. But I knew for my goals, acting, writing, creating my own show, that I needed to be unscripted. And so I very diligently tried to find my way onto a scripted set. I did a few weeks of COVID health and safety on a Fox show called Love, Victor. And that really kind of taught me about being on set. From there, I met someone who got me a job assisting a producer on Bill Burr's directorial debut, Old Dads, which was #1 on Netflix all of October. A great movie, really out there. But that was super fun to work with that team, and I grew a really great relationship with that line producer. After that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna not do production anymore. I'm gonna open this door into the acting space. Booked a background gig with Sophie, which was 4 days, and this was my first, like, TV film thing, because before that I had been doing, like, the little commercials, which are all valuable things. Every experience on a set, or even UGC, user-generated content, things that you're doing at home, all of that is going to boost your confidence, diversify your portfolio. Everything does add value. And I think, like, sometimes when people talk about, like, these little gigs, or when you book your first co-star and it comes out and you're like, oh, it's only a line, all of that takes people years. So I think you need to be proud of every single thing.
And also, you're not going to be ready right off the bat
No.
to be thrown in, like, a big movie.
No.
Like, I thought that I was, but I am so glad I've done so many of these smaller things so you can watch and learn and F up now on these smaller things 100%. As opposed to when it comes. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think, like you're saying, those big things will come when you're ready. And you're just learning about the process and how to take up space throughout this journey, especially as a woman, where it's a little more difficult. But finally had booked a background gig with you, and they, crazy enough, needed us 4 days in a row, and we got SAG vouchers every day. And I wasn't going to join SAG because I obviously didn't have the credits.
Which that's what everybody always says. Do you hear that as well? It's like you become SAG eligible and people are like, no, you need to wait. Wait until you're a must join, whatever. Right.
And maybe for some people that's fair. Because I know people who've been eligible for like 10 years and they just have never had to join, and they're doing the kind of work that they want to do. And I think everybody has different career goals with it, and that's fine. But I booked a web series later that summer. This is 2021. So our background gig was in April for a movie called The Trainer, which hasn't come out yet. Super interested to see if it does. We're not really sure. Yeah, that's the
Also,
story.
side note, that was just like such a fun
It was so fun.
background gig. I don't usually do background gigs, but the only reason
yeah.
I had done it is because it was consistent. It was 4 days. I was like, whatever.
And
We were all getting the SAG rate. Yeah, it was at the dog pound.
Yeah.
But like the group of us was so cool. I still talk
cool
with like
people.
multiple people from that set. It was just a fun group. But anyway,
it was a really great community, and it did feel. I think that you have this intuition, right, where something feels right, and you have to trust that. And that was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm meant to do this and be here. Yeah. And so when I booked the web series in July of 2021, they said that I did need to join SAG if I wanted the role, and it was only a one-line assistant, which you're like, okay, I'm gonna join SAG, which is $3,000 to earn $125, you know, for one day. But I just felt in my heart that this is what I needed to do. And sometimes there's an unexplainable feeling. Yeah. You know? You need to trust that, because every time I don't trust that, and probably same for you, just something is off, and every time I do trust it, it always works out. So it's like you have to listen to that inner voice. So you do. Yeah. And I took that. I joined. I filmed with some other amazing actors, a couple from the first acting studio that I joined in 2020. So it's fun to kind of see people full circle. Right? Oh, you did the web series with them? Yeah. Did you know they were a part of it when you joined, or no? The girl, Diana, her last name's, it looks like Ate. Okay. Totally butchering that. Okay. But her name's Diana, and she wrote the series and she plays the lead. And she's from the studio that I was going to class at. And she was kind of looking for people from the studio to help them out. So we still all auditioned, but I think she's looking for people like in her community. Yeah. And so every single thing that has happened to me in this space, not every single, almost every single thing has been because of relationships. And they say that it's all about who you know, but that shouldn't be a scary thing. I think it just goes to show that like when you show up and you're building genuine relationships, things do happen. So this is such a long-winded story, and I promise we're near the end. But I booked the web series, you know, filmed that, and then my line producer from the Bill Burr movie Old Dads reached out to me to come assist her on an Amazon show called Bosch. It's their first original television show, longest running original series. We just filmed, or season 2 of the spin-off aired this past fall. What's the spin-off? It's called Bosch Legacy. So, okay, right. So Bosch was 7 seasons. Bosch Legacy is on season 2. Okay. They're about to start filming season 3. Cool. So I was assisting in the production office, and I had just told myself, financially, I need something stable again. It's a constant push-pull, as you know, of working creatively, trying to invest in yourself, build up your materials, and then taking a consistent job to hopefully build yourself up a little bit. So I told myself working with Jamie was something that I found immense benefit doing, and that relationship felt critical to continue cultivating versus trying to find odds and ends to make ends meet. So I decided to do that, and it's September of last year at this point. Oh my gosh, my years are totally mixed up. Oh, because you've been saying 2021, but it was 2022. I have been saying 2021, but I know, and I've been thinking it was... Oh my god. Okay. It's almost 2024, and we're losing it. Okay, so 2022. We can fix this in post. It's true. I'll have Connor add in the text. Thank you, Connor. Connor, just add in 2022 every time we've said 2021. I can't believe neither of us caught that either. I'm like, yeah, it's 2022 right now. No, yeah, it's just been such a time warp. No, you're right. So September of 2022 last year. Yeah, I think it's because it's about to be 2024. Which is crazy. It's just, I know. I can't handle it. It took away 3 years. Yes. Okay, so our background gig and all of the web series things, that's happening in 2022. Yes. Last year. Yes. God. Okay, so we're filming Bosch fall of last year. September comes around, and my boss, Jamie, the line producer, she learns that I was in SAG, asks the showrunner to write me a part in the finale to give me my first co-star. And then I filmed that on December 1st last year, which was the coolest experience because I knew the whole crew from both Old Dads and Bosch. I was the one that sent out all the call sheets, and I was sitting in cast holding with Titus Welliver, who plays the lead, Harry Bosch, and this other detective opposite him, telling them kind of how I had gotten to be there today. And Titus knew me because I was obviously helping with his sides all the time, but they both were just like kind of tearing up at the story of how somebody who believes in you and sees your value will invest in you. And I think what speaks volumes is I showed up to Bosch not expecting anything like that to happen, and this woman Jamie continuing to show up for me and having faith in me, and it just being the coolest experience, because like the prop master saw me in the production office for the 4 months before that, and everyone was just like cheering me on once we wrapped. It was the coolest experience that I will never forget. And obviously having that footage and credit has allowed me to feel a little more legitimized, because this has all happened in the span of 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
Years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And yeah, because honestly, all of that acting trajectory happened in 2022. Yeah, and then this year I've been solely focusing on writing a television pilot and trying to get that off the ground, and then obviously just getting all of that footage back. And
yeah, and it's been a effing weird year, so it's
hard
for anybody to
really
get
challenging
anything.
Year.
Yeah, it's hard for anybody to say, I worked on this year. No, because we weren't working for a long time, so.
Right.
Yeah. Good on you, though, for using the time to write. That was smart. Yeah,
and I think it has been a planting seeds and watering your garden year.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. And next year that will all come to fruition.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Without a doubt.
I love too how everything in your journey is like kind of full circle. Like it all always works out, because had you not taken that gig working on Bosch, you wouldn't have got that co-star on Bosch.
Exactly.
If you wouldn't have trusted that little voice about joining SAG, you wouldn't have gotten the co-star on
I know.
Bosch. So it's like everything
wild?
does everything does work out, and it is working out. And it's funny because you can't always see it. Like I'm sure you're taking this job in production again. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, like, oh, I said I was going to do this acting thing, but I'm going to go back and do this, and it
and
all
just
works
trusting
out for
yourself.
You, so.
Yeah,
no, I love that.
I think they call it the invisible string theory, that like everything is so intricately connected, and that takes a lot of faith in the universe, but that is how I choose to process life and attribute everything that happens in my life.
Yeah, no, me too. It's not always knowing that you're making the right decision. It's just picking something and then trusting that like you're not always going to understand how or why it works out, but you just have to pick and trust.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, Anna, since you're so in touch with your inner voice, do you have any advice for people on how to listen to that inner voice or how to hear it a little bit better? Have you always felt that you've been good about hearing it, or no? Is it something that's kind of happened over the last few years?
I think it's twofold. I think listening to your intuition and loving yourself enough to respect what you feel is best for you does start a little bit in childhood, because my parents raised me not to be afraid of anything.
Yeah.
So I always felt like anything I wanted to explore was allowed and was possible, and I never had limitations placed on me. So while my parents obviously valued consistent work, and my dad comes from like a math and science STEM background, they did want me to go in that trajectory. But if there's anything I was interested in, I was never told, you can't do that, or this. I was never put in a box. Exactly. Yeah. They really allowed me to dream. They raised me in an environment where you could dream freely. And so I do, my personal slogan is dream without ceilings, because I think you need to see yourself having limitless potential.
Yeah.
And so I just try to lean into that every day, even when it's frightening and scary. And you don't know how something's going to turn out. They taught me not to be risk adverse. So I think that my belief system, my value system is really rooted in that.
Yeah.
And I think that people need to feel support in their life to take risks, to, decide when it's time to make a change, and feel that the people around them will love them regardless. And because I have such a positive community around me, I don't feel afraid to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as much like knowing what I want, it's the fact that I don't feel what I choose will affect my relationships and community, because I think your life experience and satisfaction comes from the love you have around you.
Yeah.
And if you are lacking in love and support, you aren't going to feel like you can make changes and do risky things. And I don't think you trust yourself enough.
Yeah.
You know?
So it almost sounds like you're saying that your self-worth and stuff like that isn't coming from like acting or from success or from money. Your like self-worth and those foundational things are coming from the love from people around you, or coming from within.
Yeah.
And so you're not like striving and stressing when it comes to the business.
Absolutely. I love the way you packaged that.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, that's great. Thank you. That's spot on.
I am curious for you as well, because I know you said that you had wanted to act and you kept like shoving the voice down.
Yes.
Is there like one specific moment where you officially decided like, okay, I'm done? And if there is, can you tell us that story? Like, I'm done shoving this voice down. I need to like do this thing.
Absolutely. Very clearly. So this year in 2023, it has been, like I was saying, a massive growth year. And still going into this year, I was a little bit skittish and afraid to accept that was this identity I was going to lean into. And I took an acting class in May with Annie Grindlay. She's fantastic. She's more focused on the auditioning process and on camera.
Is she a casting director? Am I making that up?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Maybe she must have previous experience.
Maybe.
She worked with Margie Haber.
Oh, okay.
Is that how you pronounce Margie Haber? Yeah. She started with Margie 20 years ago, and now she has her own studio, and she is fantastic. That was an on-camera class where it was 2 times a week, and you'd get the sides 30 minutes before class and then go up and tape with her and then have to watch your tape back in front of the whole class. And I started that really nervously and just felt like I didn't belong in this room with other really talented people. Imposter syndrome really, really intensely. And by the end of the class, I definitely felt better. But really, to get to the root of your question here, what cracked my whole self-confidence and security wide open was starting this job at Universal as a VIP tour guide. I started that in June, right after this class.
I want to stop you right there. Okay,
yes.
I want to tell you guys how competitive this Universal like tour guide thing is.
Kind of crazy.
It is. They like start you with a self tape, then you go in person, then you have a second round of callbacks.
Yeah.
I did this last summer, so I did the self tape, got called in for the in person, effing bombed it at the in person.
But that's because they made you go first, which is not fair.
Beside the point.
Yeah.
I'm like in this group, and I was talking amongst other people, and what I was blown away about is how many of them had come back, and they were like, "This is my 4th time trying to do this. This is my 3rd time trying to do this. Like, this is my dream." And even, not that this matters too, but a lot of them were like quite older than me even.
Absolutely.
And like really wanting to do it, and 100%. I was like, goodness gracious.
So many career guides.
Yeah, so it's very competitive. Like, hundreds of people audition, and to get to be a guide is a really big thing, let alone a VIP guide. But anyway, continue on.
No, I love that you prefaced that. I didn't realize that as it was presented to me. And it's really crazy, kind of slightly mentioning the whole invisible string process. A girl that I met at ABC who interviewed with my department, she didn't even get the job. We connected so deeply that we connected on LinkedIn, stayed in touch, and she started working as a studio tour guide at Universal earlier this year, and she's the one who told me about it, that this past spring they were looking for more guides, and I was like, oh, well, that sounds like the perfect gig. You know, where you can have an environment of people that are trying to make it, right, and create and be surrounded by like-minded people. So I did, in June, start that, and then it was so crazy. After you go through the whole audition process, the training is 2 weeks. The manual of everything you have to memorize is 70 pages about the whole movie studio, because Universal has over 100 years of film history, and you have to learn all of that. Not necessarily verbatim, but I had never had to memorize that much material in one chunk before, because I didn't go to school for acting, musical theater, anything like that. So this was my first experience memorizing a massive chunk of literature of any capacity. And the fact that I could do that, and after the 2 weeks, they immediately let us audition for VIP, which like never happened. So it was also crazy, right place, right time. Passed through the audition to go into VIP, ran into another 2 weeks of training, and that manual was another 40 pages because you walk your guests around the movie set. So you're not just talking on the tram, you're walking them through the sound stages. So you have to know even more and have this like rich filmography knowledge. So that whole process took almost 2 months, and then I started the VIP gig, and you have 12 guests a day, and you take them through the theme park for 4 hours and to the movie studio for 2. And you're with them all day in this position of authority. And they look to you for guidance, they have questions, they're learning from you, and it boosted my confidence in such a way that everyone in my life said, you seem like a different person.
Yeah.
And what's really kind of full circle is this class with Annie Grindlay. I made a friend in this class, and we've recently like kind of rekindled our friendship. And he had mentioned, like, you literally don't seem like the same person. Whatever YouTube tutorial you watched or did for a glow up worked. And I just laughed because I didn't try to like rebrand or, you know, change who I am as a person. Like I still have the same value system and I am still me, but I am so much more comfortable showing up in spaces and trusting myself and knowing you can memorize materials that come to you, and you do have this talent and charisma and light. And I just think like the love that my coworkers have shown me and my guests in asking, like I had this guest in October who was like, are you an actress? Because you have fantastic energy and I hope that you're pursuing that, not knowing any of my path. So I think the universe gives you gifts like that to reassure you along the way. And so just that whole experience, that was such another long-winded answer. I think we're getting there.
That's what we love. My people, they love the long answers.
We're storytellers. That's what we do. And you know, I think that whole experience of learning so much material, being able to share that in my own way, allowed me to feel like I absolutely can do this. And so now I show up every day very proud to be an actor, a writer, and content creator.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think too that's a good testament that like life experience just makes you a better actor, because again, you could have looked at the studio job as like, ugh, why am I having to take a job as a studio? I'm an actor. But no, you took it, you dove into it. Again, you went full force, like I'm gonna provide value in this space. And you were rewarded for that, as it always, that's kind of a theme in your journey, which I love.
Absolutely.
It's also so good too to have a lot of film knowledge like that too, so I'm sure that like having all that knowledge on Universal is it's so good. People are always I mean, you know how it is in the business, we're always talking about the films, and so the fact that your knowledge has expanded too, I'm sure has only helped you and will continue to help you.
100%. And I think one of our jobs as an actor is to know the landscape, because you should know the writer, director, producers of the projects that you're going out for relatively, because obviously you've got new people coming up all the time. But knowing the studios, knowing what kind of content comes out of certain production companies and what the producer's goal is or genre, like all of that is enriching information that's going to help you. And I do think that, you know, we get invited to all of these screenings and events, and those are important to go to because you are enriching your knowledge and experience. And so much of our job is just having an awareness of the industry, what's going on, who the key players are, you know.
Yeah, that's really important too, and I think that's a part we can easily neglect sometimes as actors. Get so busy on like your day job and like the craft of acting that you forget that it is a business, and to kind of know those industry things, which again, it's so competitive in LA. There's so many talented actors here that just knowing that stuff can give you a little bit of an edge. Not that that's necessarily the only reason to do it, but it definitely does give you an edge, and it makes you easier to talk to about those things, and you understand what you're going up for and things like that, which is really important.
100%. On March 1st, signed with my current manager.
Cool.
And she's lovely. Her name's Christina, with California Talent. She's great, but it's hard because I started with her in March and things were slow at that time regardless, and then we obviously had the strike.
Weird year,
Mid-strike, I reached out to commercial agents because I felt like I got some good commercial materials back and had been working pretty consistently. I know you work a lot with UGC agencies like Ready Set, Tube Science, Talent, stuff like that. And I do feel like a lot of those commercials, especially if you're in their studios, are professional quality. And so I used a lot of that to send to commercial agents and say,
that's
like,
so smart.
I'm not booking broadcast TV commercials, but I don't have access to those auditions. Here's what I am booking, and here's the value I can add. You know, and I'm also going to work hard for you because we're a team. I'm not expecting you to do all this for me. Yeah. And so I signed with a commercial agent in July.
Oh, cool.
And so have both of them, you know, kind of helping behind the scenes. Yeah. But I have not booked anything with either of them since. So I think it's hard to know because a lot of people are like, oh,
of
I
course.
don't get any auditions. And it's really hard to gauge if it's them or you or your materials, you know.
And it's been such a funky year.
And such a funky year. So I think you have to give it time. I just updated my headshots and I think that they're really great. And I'm hopeful that that kind of changes things a little.
Your circumstance is different as well because since you joined SAG so early, you weren't able to do those non-union commercials that so many of us LA actors do, where it seems like, oh, we're working all the time on these like big professional sets. And like they are, but they're still non-union commercials. Which there's kind of there's a pros and cons to the commercial world when it comes to SAG, I think, because obviously if you join SAG, the commercial rates are so much better and you get residuals and stuff as opposed to non-union. But these days there are a lot of non-union commercials, so it's kind of a trade-off. I'm curious though, have you auditioned a little bit commercially at least, or not too much at all?
My manager has gotten me probably 10 to 12 auditions this year. And my commercial agent, has gotten me 4.
Can I ask,
yeah.
Sorry, with your manager,
Yes,
are
please.
you, what type of projects are you going up for with your manager? Is it TV? Is it film?
They've all been commercial.
Okay.
Or like a couple
So
short
they both
films.
submit you. Okay, well that makes sense because the strike and stuff, there was really no TV or,
Yeah.
So commercials. That's good though, that you're going up. Okay, cool.
And my manager, she's kind of representing me across all mediums.
Okay.
Yeah, so theatrical and commercial.
Oh, cool.
But obviously since March there really hasn't been a ton.
Yeah.
So there were a couple like short films that she submitted me for.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're just starting to come out of that. She got me an audition for a Rolling Stones music video a few weeks ago, which was exciting.
Yeah.
Feels like things are really starting to
pick
get
up
rolling
again.
Yeah, so that's the hope.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up with some just little about you questions, Anna.
Yeah.
A lot of what we like to talk about here on Acting Like an Actor is just the day-to-day life of an actor, because I think it's just so weird what we do and the way we live our lives. So I just like to hear, this question's hard for an actor, but if you could, what would a day in the life of Anna be like? You can pick any day, because I know every day's different, but just maybe you have an audition, just a chill day.
That's such a hard question. It's a hard question because I do think that, like, if I'm designing my ideal day, it's not going to have anything to do with work. Because I am such a workaholic. I know that you are this way as well. That I feel that every minute of my time needs to be used valuably. You know, so in the break room, I have my laptop. And I just finished making a pitch deck for my show. And I'm doing things constantly. So my ideal day would be me allowing myself to step away from that feeling of needing to be productive at all times.
Yeah.
Just because there is no structure to the industry, and that you can be constantly furthering yourself and, you know, self-submitting.
Yeah.
Writing ideas down, networking with people, reaching out. Like,
it's literally never
endless.
ending. Yeah.
It is. So my ideal day would be at home in Colorado Springs with my family. I haven't gotten to catch up with them much in the last few years. Yeah. Since COVID. Since kind of coming out of COVID, I moved back to LA in 2021. That's where I'm getting that year from. So,
okay.
2021 was the Bachelor year and production year. 2022 acting year. We can do this. But my ideal day would be catching up with them at home. We have a lot of animals, and you know, in the winter it's so cozy with the snow. I'm not getting to go home for Christmas because
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I think right now where my heart is I'm really missing my loved ones, and it's just kind of been a year of sacrifice to try and obviously make ends meet. And like, not working a production job means that your earning potential is a little bit lower, just less consistent. because my job at Universal is based on crowd levels and attendance. And so when we're not at a busy time of the year, I'm not working.
Okay.
You know, so we're like just trying to juggle everything, UGC, commercial work, other random freelance things. Yeah. You know, and all your side hustles. So I haven't had the ability to really go home or spend a lot of quality time with family where I'm not distracted.
Yeah, fair enough. That's real. Yeah.
So my ideal day would be home, no stress, just enjoying their company.
Mm-hmm. January. I'll cut this part out. Maybe January. Flights are cheaper in January.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Go home for a week.
It'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then also, I have to remind myself this too, you probably do as well, Anna, that like it actually is productive to take a break.
I agree.
Because if we don't, you'll go into the ground. Yeah. And it does, like, I always find every time I do it, I come back so much more full. I come back with vision. I come back lively. Like, it always ends up being beneficial, which is funny because it sounds like it wouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, do your thing soon, girl, because you've been going for a while.
No, you too. I appreciate you.
Okay, and then my last question, second to last question. How do you take care of yourself, Anna?
This is so funny. I feel like we're so similar. I love lifting weights, and I go to Gold's Venice, and I don't know why it just fills up my cup so much. It's like half people watching, half working out.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And I love going for walks. I live in Santa Monica off of like 4th Street where we're on this hill and you can see the ocean.
Oh, pretty.
And like walking to the beach, walking along the beach is something that I really love.
Yeah.
And allowing myself to like treat myself to a fun smoothie or like a treat, but something that makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something I've been doing lately. Lately I've been doing a jar of Erewhon soup a week, which it's crazy. It's like $18 for this like jug of soup, but it makes me so happy, and so it's kind of like
it's a treat.
These little ways that make you happy.
Yeah.
That's obviously not enough. I think we all could be doing more to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that's all kind of like based on this reward based model.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to earn taking care of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a piece that we're working on.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
I also feel like as creatives, this sounds so weird, but I almost feel like I take care of myself by doing what I love. Because I love, like, people are always asking me, like, how do you do so much?
Yeah.
And da-da-da. And I'm like, because it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Nothing I do feels like work.
Yeah.
I think back to the trainer. Like, it blows my mind that, like, that's work. And, like, we got paid for that stuff. Fun. And it's just, like, when you're on set and stuff. And it's just fun when you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
It's almost like that's taking care of yourself in a way, too. Not forcing yourself to do things that you hate doing.
Yeah, that's huge.
But finding a balance between that.
And I guess adding on to that, like setting boundaries is taking care of yourself, right? Like recognizing what relationships are enriching in your life and which aren't. I think that the past few years have been really focused on cultivating the relationships where people are adding value to my life and understand where I'm going and what I'm seeking out of that relationship. And people who are receptive to, obviously, the love that I have to give.
Yeah.
Versus those people that can just be energy orbs that just suck the life out of you.
Yeah. And don't fill you up back. No. It's like a one-sided thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So part of taking care of yourself, I think, is like knowing how to say no. Saying no to situations and people that are not going to make you feel good, even when you feel really guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing on TikTok lately that's like JOMO, joy of missing out? I think about that sometimes. Like interesting.
That makes
it's
sense,
like
though. I like that.
Saying no to so much. But.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time for our final segment, which is Fast Frisky 5. It's just 5 random rapid fire questions that require a lot of thought, but they're rapid fire.
Okay, so I hope
it's like
I'm fast.
We'll see.
Okay.
Favorite quote?
My grandma used to always say we're golden.
Oh, I love it.
That's not really a direct quote. I'm not really a quote person.
Okay, fair enough.
But no, my grandma used to always say we're golden to mean like we're good and it's gonna be great, and I have it tattooed on my shoulder.
Oh, cute.
So that's like my favorite. We call it a verse.
Yeah, that's a good little like actor thing too. I feel like it's just as we live our lives. It's like no matter what's going on, we're golden.
We're golden.
It's good.
We're
You trust
trusting
it's
that.
working out.
Yeah.
And it always is.
Yeah, we're all set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is something in LA that you love that not a lot of people know about?
I live on the west side, and it's tough because most people in the industry that I'm meeting do not, especially at work.
We're in
and
the
gigs.
valley.
They're in the
Yeah.
valley. They're in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like what I love about LA is the vibe of this Santa Monica, Venice in between, where we have this like street called Rose, full of all my favorite restaurants, and my favorite place this year has been Layla Bagels.
Okay.
On Ocean Park. So that would be like my one thing about LA.
Love
like,
it.
I do think that foodies know about it. So this is why it's not like it's not a secret.
Okay, I've not heard of it, but again, I'm not a West Side girl, so
Okay.
noted for when I go over there.
Right.
Layla's
so
Bagels.
favorite thing about LA right now is Layla Bagels.
Okay.
And we're gonna like kind of helicopter out of that and say the infatuation. My favorite thing about LA is the infatuation because I'm such a foodie, and you can always look at like types of restaurants you want to go to, occasions, when out-of-towners are visiting, and how
It's
to
true.
entertain them. Like that is my favorite. It's like my favorite social media. It's going on the
Love it.
infatuation.
I love it. We can get you a brand deal with them or something.
No, oh my god, hey guys,
I
love you.
What is your favorite line in a movie?
Okay, so this is just me like not being a quote person or a line person. Okay, this is so segueing, but you know how people have songs living rent-free in their brains?
Yeah.
Music, song lyrics. I'm not that person.
Okay.
I don't remember song lyrics that way.
Okay.
You know how people like hear a song from their childhood and they can just start singing it? I don't know song lyrics.
Oh.
Like I don't think I'm there's like a type of learning.
You're not an auditory learner, maybe?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, no.
All right.
No, I'm visual. I have to read things to understand them.
She's just making an excuse as to why she doesn't
I'm
have
making so many excuses, 100%. But no.
That makes sense.
like-
I got you. Okay, this question's really difficult.
Okay.
Pickles, yay or nay?
Yes.
Okay, that was good.
100%.
And our final question, recent
Okay.
obsession.
Daisy Jones and the Six.
Okay.
I mean, I wish that I could think of a line from that show because that would be it.
So I haven't watched the show. Unpopular opinion. I read the book.
And you didn't like it?
So boring. It was so hard for me to
Okay,
follow. I toughed it out, but
I completely disagree. Just like
Oh,
I was
did you
obsessed
read
with
the
it.
book?
Yes, I read the book
Okay.
first and then the show.
and it was slow. And I love that
that's
author
fair.
too.
Yeah, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I do think that people have very specific genres that they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I follow a few girls on Book Talk, and their niche of book talk is completely different from each other.
Yeah.
You know, like the genres that you want to digest are so different.
Yeah.
And same with our taste in music and film and TV.
Yeah.
You know, so Daisy Jones has been my whole personality this year.
Okay, love.
Fleetwood Mac, you know, just like
Okay.
right along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Vibes.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to leave our Acting Like an Actor viewers with?
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope that if nobody tells you today, we are proud of you and we love you.
See you next week.
Bye.